Hi everyone, very good afternoon. Welcome back to the Jerez de la Frontera circuit here in southern Spain. It's race 2 for the Ferrari Challenge CoppaShell cars about to get underway on track. There, the 2016 calendar as we reach the final conclusion of it. From here, we head off to the World Finals in Daytona, US of A, right at the beginning of December. Races.ferrari.com, the website where you can find out everything that you need to know with regards to the Ferrari Challenge. Circuit location then, as the pin correctly identifies, right at the bottom of Spain. Actually pretty close to the border with Portugal. But here we are in glorious conditions for this round 6 of the Ferrari Challenge. This 4.42 kilometer circuit here in Jerez, which features some 13 turns, 8 right, 5 left. And quite a challenging circuit. Air temperature is a beautiful 28 degrees, track temperature 40 degrees. A bit of wind around though, as you can see the palms being blown in that wind. And some of the race fans here, of which there are many, to enjoy the race action from the Ferrari Challenge. Trofeo Pirelli cars have already been out and completed their race, and now it is the turn of the 16-strong grid of CoppaShell cars that are lined up on the track, as you can see. And Thomas Loflad, who had a torrid time of it yesterday, did all the hard work in qualifying today and will be going from pole position. And actually finished the race yesterday P9, not where he wanted to be at all. He is leading the points by some margin, 152 points over Rick Lovett, who sadly is missing this weekend, who's on 118 points, and then Eric Prinot, who is P3 on 109 points. As we look at our P2 driver on the grid, Renato D'Amato, father of Daniel D'Amato, another former racer in the Ferrari Challenge, who's off racing in Carrera Cup now in Italy. In the front row, Loflad and D'Amato with Claudio Schiavone going from P3 on the grid. So there is our pole sitter, Thomas Loflad, who worked really hard to get into the points yesterday following his back of the pack start, and did manage to achieve that by getting up to P9. So Loflad and D'Amato then on the front row of the grid. Perhaps the unluckiest man yesterday was this man, von Skelterma, who had done a brilliant job in qualifying, found himself in the lead, and then a tyre let go. Puncture meant he was out of the race. So von Skelterma, who's qualified that car on P4 for today. There is Claudio Schiavone then, who I mentioned has had a great time of it here in Spain, to be fair. Finished the race P2 yesterday and goes from P3 on the grid today. Looking back from the von Skelterma car, we look at the 144 machine of Vladimir Hladek, which is the car run by the Scuderia Praha team. And to the right of your picture, you can just see the Corinna Gosner car. 3 of the Gosner family on the track. Corinna, Manuela, and also Dad Thomas Gosner out there on track as well. Manuela and Corinna, as well as Deborah Mayer, who'll be going from P14, race in the Ladies' Cup. And there is Corinna Gosner then, who was on the podium in the Ladies' Cup yesterday, having taken the ladies' race win. And the Ionico MP driver, as you can see, eyes focused on the task ahead, which is to take another win in the Ladies' Cup. Holger Harmsen in the all-yellow machine that you can see there in car treble 1. He's going from P8. And there the assembled pack of 458 Evo cars ready to do battle here on the circuit of Jerez de la Frontera. And here's a snapshot. So just a little postcard of what it's like here in Jerez. 30 minutes of race action to come from the CoppaShell cars then when they are released on their race, which is the final race in the Ferrari Challenge before we head off to the big World Final weekend in Daytona right at the beginning of December. There they will have 2 races in each of their respective championships before the glittering World Final race to come right at the end of the weekend. But that's in December, and that's in Daytona. We are in Spain for round 6 of the Ferrari Challenge. And gradually people making their way off the grid. And the safety car will lead them away on a formation lap. It's always a rolling start for the Ferrari Challenge. And there you can see the Hublot safety car that will lead the cars away in just a few moments from now. So the point situation, as I mentioned, Thomas Loflad, who goes from pole position, leads the points on 152. Rick Lovett, who sadly is missing this weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in Daytona, Rick. He is P2 in the points on 118. And third in the points is Eric Prinot. And he took the race win yesterday and celebrated atop the podium with his normal vigour, it has to be said. So Eric Prinot then, who is qualifying, means that he will Eric Prinot we were talking about, let's see him in action here. Von Skeltermar led them from the off then. So a horrific crash for Eric Chung even before a lap had been completed. He turned in on the Corinna Gosner car and found himself in the barriers. Thankfully Eric absolutely fine and okay, and we'll be starting race 2, albeit in a different car. Vladimir Hladic then racing hard in the 144 car. After the safety car deployment for the Eric Chung incident, there was lots of action going on, and Thomas Loflad doing his level best to muscle his way past the Manuela Gosner car, which eventually he did succeed, but succeed is the word that you would use to describe the victory of Eric Prinot. So the flags are flying, and there is the Tommy Lindroth car, race number 65 in the 458 Challenge. Now, Tommy had a big off in FP1 on Friday, and finds himself in a spare car. A typical reaction from Tommy, it has to be said, as the camera zoomed in on his driving position there. Tommy Lindroth focused on going forward from P12 on the grid, forgive me. Manuela Gosner, 30 races in the 458 Challenge, and an altogether more polite reaction from Manuela Gosner. Made her debut at the Brno circuit in the Czech Republic back in 2014. Oh, fantastic. Good old Tommy. One of the real characters in the Ferrari Challenge, it has to be said. So the safety car is about to leave the grid. Now. Well, it wasn't quite on my now, but it has got away. And then the cars will be leaving as well. There is the Hublot safety car then around this 4.4 kilometer Jerez de la Frontera circuit. Just awaiting to pick up the cars as they are released. Here's the grid in full. Thomas Loflad, Renato D'Amato. Then it's Claudio Schiavoni and Von Skeltermar, the first 2 rows of the grid. To the next rows, we find Kriton Lendudis and Vladimir Hladic, and then it's Murat Kuhadaroglu and Holger Harmsen going from P7 and P8, completing row 4. Row 5 is Christian Kinch and Corinna Gosner. Then it's Manuela Gosner and Tommy Lindroth then, who gave us the victory sign from his grid position. Ingvar Madsen, Deborah Meyer. Then we find Eric Chung and Thomas Gosner. Going from row 8. And Eric Chung then, who was in the barriers yesterday, didn't even complete a lap. Thankfully, all okay, and reinforcing the structural integrity of these fantastic 458 Challenge Evo cars. Huge hit, to be fair. We're on board with Thomas Loflad then, who is our pole sitter. And there is Tommy Lindroth weaving from side to side. He also in a spare car. His car not so badly damaged as Eric Chung's, following his off during FP, but damaged sufficiently enough for it to not be repaired. So in the Drivers' Championship, it's 152 points for Thomas Loflad to 118 on Rick Lovett, and then Eric Prinot on 109 points in P3. And close behind is Von Skeltemar, P4 in the points on 105. And those four really have broken away from the rest of the pack in terms of the points championship. So if you'd like to be in touch and find out more about the Ferrari Challenge, all the social media on screen for you now on the graphics at the bottom of the screen. We urge you to do take a look and follow the Ferrari Challenge story. Lots of information available to you, particularly at the web portal, which is races.ferrari.com. Plenty of information on the cars, the series, the drivers, of course, who are the stars as well. We stay on board with Thomas Loflad, the Star Left Squadra Corsa driver. Star Left Squadra Corsa already having had success in the Trofeo Pirelli race, which was earlier today, with young charger Alex Paulo, the Spanish single-seater racer, out as a guest in the Ferrari Challenge, taking a fine win to add to his P2 from yesterday. So Star Left Squadra Corsa having a good time of it here in Jerez. Murat Kuhudaroglu and Holger Harmsen side by side there as they head towards the what is the final turn on the lap, and will approach the start-finish line. And it's down to Loflad and D'Amato then to control the pace of the rolling lap as they head towards the starting line. Instructions being offered from team managers from every single team as the cars now approach the start-finish straight. We throw the lights to the top of the screen on the left-hand side for you so you can see the start sequence. Side by side, Loflad and D'Amato, Claudio Schiavone and Von Skeltemar. Great start from Von Skeltemar. But he's on the outside of Claudio Schiavone, and they all go through, but Von Skeltemar carrying enough momentum to go through into P3 and advances up one position already. Claudio Schiavone then tucking into the P4 place, but already being hounded as one car is off and through the gravel, but makes its way back through the turn 3 chicane and is back out on track once again. So 30 minutes of race action to come from the CoppaShell drivers, and the race being led by Thomas Loflad as they go onto the longest straight here at the circuit. Downhill and heavy braking before turn number 6. Looking very lively is Vladimir Hladic on Claudio Schiavone behind, and Holger Harmsen tucked in behind them in P6 in the all-yellow machine. And behind Holger Harmsen is Corinna Gosner. There is Tommy Lindroth then, who's running in P9 at the moment. And here is Von Skeltemar looking at the back of the Renato D'Amato car at the moment. Claudio Schiavone then remains under pressure from the 144 machine of Vladimir Hladic. So Vladimir Hladic being run by the Scuderia Pra team. And through the chicane they go. Turns 11 and turns 12. So who was it that got out of shape here? Well, there was contact between Murat Kuhudaroglu, and I can't quite see who the other car was. Thinking it may well have been Eric Chung, but I might be wrong. So across the timing line they do and head up towards turn 1 again. Loflad and D'Amato just gradually pulling away from the others. There is the Eric Chung car, which looks completely undamaged, so perhaps it was Thomas Gosner. was involved in that little skirmish earlier on. Vladimir Hladic then, who is currently running in P5. All sticking together here. D'Amato is being able to match the pace of Loflad. And there's merely 4 tenths between the P1, P2, and 4 tenths again from P2 to P3 at the moment as they run down to turn 6. Giovanni just taking a look at the inside of von Skeltermar, but not close enough to be able to make a potential overtake there. We're on board with our race leader, Thomas Loflad from Starlef Squadra Corsa, who I mentioned already having been successful in the Trofeo Pirelli race, hoping to emulate that success with their driver, Thomas Loflad here. Certainly knows his way around the Ferrari 458 Evo Challenge car, that's for sure. And it's great to have this onboard shot with Loflad hard at work inside the car. Heading up towards the chicane now, which is turns 11 and 12. Heavy braking now before turning into the right-hander. Taking the curbs on the in and on the out as well. And back on the power. Holding the car off to the runoff area. Both sides there as they head towards the final turn. Brakes hard once again and turns in. It's one of the 5 left-handers on the track and just gets a bit out wide there. That allows Renato D'Amato to get perhaps just a little bit closer. It was 6 tenths last time as they crossed the timing line. It stays the same between P1 and P2. They're just beginning to break away a little bit from von Skeltermar, who's running in P3. Claudio Schiavone in P4, not being hounded now by Vladimir Hladic quite as he was. So D'Amato and Loflad, as you can see, 5 or 6 car lengths between D'Amato and von Skeltermar now. So it's von Skeltermar running in P3. Yesterday, of course, he was running in P1 when a tyre let go, and there's a mistake from D'Amato. Drive-through penalty for Murat Kuhadaroglu in car number 133. You'll see that on screen in a moment. Just getting that up on our message board to say that he's going to get a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. So he's currently running down there in P16, so fairly academic, really. Not going to make that much difference to where he's at. There's Deborah Mayer. And here then is Murat Kuhadaroglu, who, as I say, gets a drive-through penalty for causing a collision in the 133 car. And a couple of very respectable P7 finishes, including in race 1 yesterday across the course of the season. Well, this is our race leader, Thomas Loflad, sets the fastest lap at 1:53.421. Clear 2 tenths quicker than Renato D'Amato, and you can see that Loflad is now beginning to stretch his legs a bit and open up a sizable margin over Renato D'Amato, and von Skeltermar getting ever closer to D'Amato now and leaving Claudio Schiavone and Vladimir Hladic in wake a bit. There's Holger Harmsen in the all-yellow machine before we see Corinna Gosner. And there is the 131 car of Kriton Lendudis. Kriton Lendudis running in P9. So very technical circuit this, and as you can see, lots and lots of gravel rather than acres and acres of tarmac runoff, which Holger Harmsen just experiences some of that gravel, as you can see from the dust that's been kicked up from his little excursion onto it. Basically, it's very old school in design in terms of circuitry, where circuits now have so many acres of tarmac runoff, which drivers tend to try and use to advantage their position as best they can. Well, here, if you go outside the track limits, you're likely to be bitten really rather hardly by the gravel or grass that surrounds the circuit. This was Holger Harmsen's little excursion through the gravel and the grass then. He was able to hold station in his position ahead of Manuela Gosner, but is a sight closer is Corinna now, rather, than was before. Another drive-through penalty, forgive me being distracted, being issue to Kriton Lendudis for jumping the start. That's car number 131, who's currently running in P9. So Kriton Lendudis then there is going to get a drive-through penalty. So for a jump start, he's right behind the car of Christian Kinch and comes in to serve that drive-through penalty straight away. Slows down to the pit lane speed limit and has to crawl through the pit lane, and that's going to bring him out behind Kuhardaruglu. So the jump start saw them three abreast then, and this is the replay of the start. And Thomas Loflad, a little bit of a touch from von Skeltermar on the back of the Renato D'Amato car, I think. And on board there with the Kessel Star. Great on-board action. There's Deborah Mayer in car number 108, currently running in P15. So Kriton Lendudis then. Drive-through penalty. And Kuhardaruglu with a drive-through penalty also. But this is our race leader, Thomas Loflad, the number 151 car, driving for the Stylef Squadra Corsa outfit, and is 1.8 seconds to the good at the front of the pack. So in a very, very comfortable position at the moment with 21 minutes of the race remaining. There's D'Amato, there's von Skeltermar, and Claudia Schiavone and Vladimir Hladic into the picture as well. Sound of these 4,400cc 458, absolutely awesome. As they run through the chicane now and head towards turn number 13, the final turn on the track. There is von Skeltermar then. He of such dashed luck yesterday when a tyre let go and took him out of the lead of the race, and in fairness took him out of the race altogether. Claudia Schiavone has had a real turn of pace this weekend and looked very strong indeed, and is currently running in P4. Just beginning to encroach upon von Skeltermar. There's Corinna Gosner, who's leading in the ladies race at the moment in car number 173 and is running in P7 for Nico MP in the race overall, chasing down that Holger Harmsen car, who we saw going through a trip through the gravel just a lap or so ago. Not able quite to get on turns with Corinna Gosner is Christian Kinch, who's running P8. Then it's Tommy Lindroth, who is P9, with Ingvar Mattsson running in P10. So flat out around turn 5 before starting this very, very long straight here, which goes downhill. Straight length is some 600 meters. Real turn of speed, and been interesting to watch the cars through the speed traps there. Been 222, 223, 225 kilometers per hour through the speed traps. Now, Corinna's sister Manuela is currently running in P11, and this, or that was Vladimir Hladic, getting ever closer to Claudia Schiavone. There in the 108 car is Deborah Mayer, and super livery on that 108 machine. A little bit of contact there with the 131 car of Kriton Lendudis, which has caused the coolant to be coming out of that car and being sprayed all over the circuit, which is less than helpful, truthfully. But it is the battle for P14, but Kriton Lendudis in all sorts of trouble, as is Tommy Lindroth, who's around and he's beached. Now, I suspect that Tommy's not going to be able to recover that car from there because it will have gone into the gravel too deep. Well, and that's the reason why it was in the 199 car, Ingvar Mattsson, that really rather unceremoniously turfed Tommy into the gravel. Now, dependent upon where that car is and how that's going to be recovered, we'll just keep our eyes on that. So von Skeltermar at the moment is able to Continue to see off Claudio Schiavone, who's taken a look at the inside now, though, so he's getting ever closer to the 177 machine. Now, von Skeltermaar at the moment is in the final podium place, and there is Tommy Lindroth, who's out of the car. It's been a pretty rotten weekend for Tommy, to be honest. And his race is over, and driving in a spare car. So we have a yellow flag through that final turn, which is where he was really rather unceremoniously dumped out. Whoa, Claudio Schiavone very nearly getting to the inside of von Skeltermaar there, but not quite able to do it as they head into the chicane now. We're live on board with von Skeltermaar. Gives it plenty of power out and heads towards the final turn, turn number 13. Just all of a sudden, Claudio Schiavone has had to go from thinking about attacking the von Skeltermaar car to defending from the attentions of Vladimir Hladic, who is the car that is absolutely right behind. So von Skeltermaar has been able to escape up the road for a moment. So Schiavone and Hladic then virtually identical. It's just at 2/100ths in difference on the lap time. So the Lindroth car remains stricken around the final turn, which means yellow flag is shown in that area, and the incident that brought about the Tommy Lindroth car in the gravel there is under investigation by the race stewards. I'd be altogether surprised to find Ingvar Mattsson from Scuderia Autoropa having to take a drive-through for that. Their confirmation then that the incident is under investigation, as I've just suggested. We get the information on our timing screens just marginally before it's up on the broadcast screens. In any event, what it does mean is that Tommy Lindroth is out of the race, sadly. Claudio Schiavone then in car number 102, driving for a new team that came into the Ferrari Challenge this year, running Claudio and also Deborah Mayer, and that is the team of Scuderia Nicky, who are very welcome into the Ferrari Challenge. So, out of the race, we've lost Tommy Lindroth, Eric Chung and Kriton Lendoudis. So Eric Chung and Kriton Lendoudis in the pit lane at the moment. And Tommy Lindroth, we know his car is in the gravel and will not be returning from there. Sure enough, drive-through penalty is going to be awarded to car number 199, Ingvar Mattsson. As we see the Tommy Lindroth car being recovered there. Well, that's probably deserved, but unfortunately it doesn't help Tommy Lindroth, who will take no further part in the race, and the car is being recovered as we speak. Holger Harmsen just beginning to suffer a little bit in P6 from the attentions of Corinna Gosner, who is running in P7 and leading the Ladies' Cup race that is a sort of sub-race within the CoppaShell. So Ingvar Mattsson takes his drive-through penalty straight away and rejoins the race, and we're just under half distance. We'll have just completed just over half of the race as the cars scream down now, and once again von Skeltermaar is able to focus on what he's doing up ahead, because Claudio Schiavone is having to defend from Vladimir Hladic, who they run in P4 and P5 at the moment. The race leader is Thomas Loflad, who's not been able to get a huge margin ahead of Renato D'Amato. It's just a second, but then there's another couple of seconds before you get back to that car, the shark's teeth of von Skeltermaar. Looked on for the win yesterday, but a puncture denied, and now is looking for the final podium step position of P3. He's got to hold on to the car and the attention of Claudio Schiavone, who runs wide, and that allows Vladimir Hladic through. So just carried too much into the first part of the chicane, and there is the Deborah Mayer car from Scuderia Nicky, and it looks like Deborah Mayer is out of the race, sadly. Well, a great shame. So there's been a change then for P4 and for P5. Vladimir Hladic is now P4. Claudio Schiavone is P5. Schiavone carried too much speed into the turn 11 start of the chicane, and that was just enough for Vladimir Hladic to be able to take advantage of that. Okay, here's Manuel Agostina right in the middle of this sandwich, if you like, between Christian Kinch and Thomas Gosner. So Dad behind and Christian Kinch ahead. So Manuela then, who joined us back in 2014 in the Brno circuit in Czech Republic. Well, whatever needed attending to the 108 car, looks like they've done it, and that Deborah Mayer may be back out on track again. She certainly did get out of the car momentarily, as we saw, but certainly seems to be back in it now. Right, Thomas Loflad, Renato D'Amato, and Renato is now beginning to reel him in as around goes Manuel Agostina in car number 183. And it returns. Thankfully, the damage is not terminal, but the car was turned around. We'll get a replay of that incident, I am sure. I can only imagine it was with Christian Kinch. Sure it was. Manuela up the inside then, and unfortunately, that pirouetted the car around. Thomas Gosner then, with good awareness, manages to avoid. And so for the Ineco MP team then, one car goes around. Here's that P1 and P2. So it was down to 8/10, and sure enough, to the very right of your picture, there is Deborah Mayer, who's returning out onto the track. That's really good to see. Von Skeltermar really under pressure now from Vladimir Hladic. Of course, Fons had been almost protected by Claudio Schiavone from Vladimir, who was behind Claudio Schiavone until he made a mistake into the chicane. So now it's Vladimir Hladic who is chasing down the car of Von Skeltermar. So we're on board with Skeltermar looking back at the P4 car of Vladimir Hladic then. Interestingly, Deborah Mayer has come back out onto track, splitting Claudio Schiavone and Holger Harmsen for P5 and P6. But of course the Deborah Mayer car is a back marking car now, that 108. So there is Fons in the final podium place at the moment. It's Vladimir Hladic right behind. Holger Harmsen and Corinna Gosner have got past the back marking Deborah Mayer car. Just saw that at the back of the picture. And we're into the final 10 minutes of the CoppaShell race here at Jerez de la Frontera. Von Skeltermar then, who was so bitterly disappointed that saw the race win go away yesterday through a deflating tyre. He can do his level best to defend the final podium place at the moment from Vladimir Hladic. So through the chicane and head towards the final turn, we go back on board with Von Skeltermar in P3. Vladimir Hladic in P4, down through the gearbox. Hladic gets have a close-up. Back on the throttle again for the start-finish straight. And Claudio Schiavone now is back onto the back of Vladimir Hladic, who really is in this stuck in the middle position of hunting and being hunted at the same time. Claudio, of course, made a mistake, which is how Vladimir managed to get past, but sometimes that's very much part of the strategy, is try and provoke a mistake by keeping the pressure on, and certainly he did that on Claudio. Claudio did make an error. Will he be able to do the same with Von Skeltermar? So as they go to the fastest part of the circuit now, cars matched for pace, and going into the turn, this is where we saw Manuel Agostina and Christian Kinch come together, and Vladimir Hladic taking a look at the inside. This is brilliant, this onboard sequence of Vladimir Hladic just taking a look at the inside of Von Skeltermar, but was denied as they go through turn 7 and 8. Fastest lap of the race, incidentally, came on lap 3 at 1:53.385. Everyone is on 54 or 55 at the moment. So von Skelterma. And on the back marking car of Deborah Mayer, that was Thomas Gosner, who of course is ahead of Manuela now by dint of her coming together with Christian Kinch, which saw her turned around. And there's damage to the Manuela Gosner car because it's not as quick as it once was. In the meantime, von Skelterma is still able to defend the 144 car that is attacking from behind. Oh, and also out now is Murat Kuhadaroglu. And the 133 car is properly beached there from CoppaShell Racing. And that's not going to recover from there, that's for sure. Whoa, that's between turns 9 and 10. Just carrying too much speed through turn 9. Now, dependent upon where that is, it looks pretty close to the circuit. Now, whether we'll get away with just a yellow flag through that turn 9 section, or whether we might even have to have a safety car there until that car is recovered, which with just 6 minutes left on the clock would be a great shame for the race. It'd be good news for von Skelterma, which would mean that, of course, clearly, Vladimir Hladic would not be able to overtake. Well, in fairness, has not been able to do so yet. You can see where the Murat Kuhadaroglu car is, just from the onboard shot of von Skelterma there. So into the chicane goes Fons. Now, that's where the constant pressure from Vladimir Hladic paid dividends for him in terms of causing a problem for Claudio Schiavone, which saw Schiavone able to advantage himself into the P4 position. So waved double yellows then around that turn 9. And 5 minutes left on the clock, as you can see, for this CoppaShell race. There is von Skelterma. There's Claudio Schiavone. Whoa, the back end of the Schiavone car from Scuderia Nicky really stepping out there. Did well to control that and hold on to it. Through turns 2 and 3 come the von Skelterma and Vladimir Hladic car. Thomas Loflad 2.4 seconds to the good now at the front of the pack. Untroubled by Renato D'Amato, who equally, because Fons has been having to think about defending from Vladimir Hladic, that's played into the hands of D'Amato, who is now up the road by 3 seconds on von Skelterma, the Shark's Teeth car, right at the bottom of your picture now. Well, Vladimir is staying with him, that's for sure, but has not been able to find a way past, nor pressure Fons into making a similar mistake that Claudio Schiavone did. I suspect that Fons, having suffered such disappointment yesterday, at very least, is going to try and nail that final podium place. So they go through the yellow flag section. As you can see, the Murat Kuhadaroglu car is being recovered through that double waved yellow section. And Skelterma then through the chicane once again. By my reckoning, it's going to be 3 more laps before the end of this race. So 3 more laps that Skelterma has got to hold on to that P3 position from the attentions of Vladimir Hladic. Claudio Schiavone is not quite close enough to Hladic to try and wrestle back that P4 position. So as the graphics indicate, the battle for third is between von Skelterma, Vladimir Hladic and Claudio Schiavone. Hladic running for the Baron service team then. There is our race leader, Thomas Loflad for Starlef Squadra Corsa. And Renato D'Amato then 2.8 seconds behind. So the 151 machine, as you can see, 2.8 seconds. As they head down the long straight from T5 to T6. D'Amato brakes hard then, turns in for turn 6. Certainly a car, the livery, you're never going to forget. Day glow orange colours. Skeltamar again, continuing to metaphorically keep his elbows out and maintain that P3 position over Vladimir Hladic and Claudio Schiavoni. Hladic is certainly closer to Skeltamar than Schiavoni is to Hladic, but as they head towards turn number 13, heavy braking from Fons, then it is the start-finish straight. Thomas Loflad, P1. Oh, and again, Schiavoni then with a real sideways moment off the back of turn number 13. So it's the last lap now. Calculations were 1 lap out, so it's just one more lap then that Fons Skeltamar is going to hold on to this P3 position. There's Holger Harmsen and Corinna Gostner. Corinna Gostner winning in the ladies' race. And be the second time this weekend Corinna will have been on the podium. Holger Harmsen with an interesting line there through the turn 2-3 sequence. Battle for P6 in the race overall. So Loflad 2.6 seconds to the good then. On this, the final lap. A fantastic weekend it's been for the Starlef Squadra Corsa squad. Race earlier today won by Alex Paolo in Trofeo Pirelli, and now Thomas Loflad with a lights to flag victory to come here in the CoppaShell race, which is going to really cement his position at the top of the points, particularly given that Rick Lovett, who was challenging him in the points, is missing this weekend, sadly. So Loflad then with just the chicane and one more turn to do before he will head towards the checkered flag. And the Starlef Squadra Corsa squad hang on to the catch fencing on the pit lane, ready to welcome home their driver, who will be victorious. So Thomas Loflad then rounds the final turn. The fist is already out of the window. Squadra Corsa for Starlef Squadra Corsa win with Thomas Loflad taking P1. P2 will go the way of Renato D'Amato. And P3 will be Fons Skeltamar and Vladimir Hladic. And there, the 102 car of Claudio Schiavoni finishing in P5. So all very happy there on the Starlef Squadra Corsa pit wall. And there is Corinna Gostner, who will take the ladies' win. So at least Fons Skeltamar is going to wrestle a podium out of the weekend. And there the 199 car of Ingvar Mattsson taking P10 as the checkered flag continues to fall on those finishing that CoppaShell race here. And our race winner Thomas Loflad then, who will be heading to the podium, which is more than he did yesterday, finishing the race P9. And that basically means that Thomas Loflad becomes the CoppaShell European champion, because he's not going to be able to be caught now by Rick Lovett, who was and is P2 in the points. So Loflad will be able to go to Daytona in the knowledge that he's done enough to take the European Championship for the CoppaShell in the Ferrari Challenge. through the chicane. There's Renato D'Amato then taking P2. And von Skeltermar then with the final podium place. Say some reward for his efforts this weekend. Gosner, Ladies Cup race winner. Olga Harmsen finishing one place ahead. Classification in full then: Loflad, D'Amato, Skeltermar, Hladek, Scavoni. Then it was Harmsen, Gosner, Kinch, and Thomas Gosner, then Ingvar Madsen, the top 10. Lots of revving, as you can hear, as the cars make their way into the pit lane. Well, they're pretty happy down there, quite rightly. So the Style F team congratulate their driver. So, Corinna Gosner then being congratulated for taking the ladies' race win. Congratulated there by sister Manuela. Let's take a look at the highlights of that race then. Here they come. From the off then, Thomas Loflad knew what he'd got to do and was going to do it. Went into turn one in the P1. Von Skeltermar hanging it out around the outside to take up the P3 position from Claudio Schiavone, who was going to be hassled by Vladimir Hladek. There was contact, and that in the very start of the race. So Loflad then would be untroubled, actually, for the rest of the race. Sadly not untroubled was Tommy Lindroth, who found himself out in the gravel and pushed into the gravel by Ingvar Madsen. Manuela Gosner had a go at Christian Kinch, and sadly it was never going to work. Dad, Thomas Gosner, had to take avoiding action. Meantime, on board the von Skeltermar car, who was running in P3 and was going to be troubled by Vladimir Hladek all the way to the checkered flag, which was where Thomas Loflad was heading. And not putting a foot wrong, the Style F Squadra Corsa driver would make it 2 wins for that team out of 2 races. One in CoppaShell with that man, Thomas Loflad, and one in Trofeo Pirelli with Alex Paulo. What a race from CoppaShell. In the Drivers' Championship then, confirmation that Thomas Loflad has done enough. There are not enough points available for Rick Lovett to overhaul Thomas Loflad in the Drivers' Championship, and Loflad wins the CoppaShell Drivers' Championship for 2016. Let's go up to the podium. So we await the podium then, which will feature 4 drivers. It will feature the 1, 2, 3 in the race, and it will also feature the Ladies' Cup race winner, which is sister to that lady. There's Manuela, and Corinna it's going to be that's going to be up there on the podium. Von Skeltermar then.
También vencedor en la categoría de gentleman. Y vencedor en la carrera de
Renato D'Amato.
el piloto alemán Thomas Loflad. Fuerte el aplauso para él.
And Thomas Loflad then on the top step. Well, Loflad jumps for joy, and here comes Corinna Gostner.
Thomas Loflad, el piloto alemán, en honor del mismo, escuchamos el himno
National anthem time then.
de Alemania. Fuerte el aplauso para el podio y especial para el vencedor.
So the national anthem plays out then for our podium placers, and for Thomas Loflad, of course, the race winner. Ignacio Diaz then, the head of the circuit Jerez here, makes the trophy presentation, first of all to Von Skeltermar. Renato D'Amato then, P2. And the race winner then, Thomas Loflad.
También ese trofeo organizativo de la victoria al team manager, al representante del equipo Style F Escuadra Corse. Fuerte el aplauso también para la escudería vencedora. Trofeo Gentleman para el segundo clasificado, el italiano Renato
Team are pretty happy.
vencedor en la categoría de Gentleman.
Well, and of course, double bubble for the gentleman racer, and it's Renato that's going to get it and not Von Skeltermar, because and Corinna then receives the ladies' trophy. If you're wondering about the label, if you like, that Von Skeltermar is holding up there, it's to his driver coach, Nicky Cadai, and I think that's what that's all about. Fonzie's great fun, it has to be said. So they all get together then for the photographs on the podium. Barbara, Nicky loves you. There you go. Celebrating anniversary. And Von Skeltermar doing that on the podium on behalf of his driver coach, Nicky Cadai, who probably won't thank him for it, I suspect, as the champagne erupts then. Well, another great race from the CoppaShell drivers in the Ferrari Challenge. And next time we see the Ferrari Challenge in action, it's going to be at Daytona in Florida for the big world final weekend. Cannot wait for that. And that's the truth. Thank you so much for being part of our weekend here at Jerez de la Frontera, as the 2016 season is rapidly drawing to a close, and it will all come to a close at the beginning of December in Daytona in Florida. So thank you so much for watching the races across this weekend. From me and from all the team here, bye-bye for now. We'll see you in Daytona. Bye-bye.